Atreides shall immediately take control of Arrakis and serve as its steward.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Grand Finals for the Grand Vision Dune Digital tournament being hosted by Cheeseball. I am the Black Shadow, and yeah, it's good to be sat here and actually getting ready to do some commentaries, kids. It's been a little while. I've been stuck on night shift work for quite a while, but that is no content, which means I'll be able to do plenty more content here on the channel, Hidden Assets, and this should be a good place to start. For those of you that were following, the Grand Vision tournament was a tournament that was held over the course of the summer. It's taken a little bit of scheduling to get the final done. It's just the kind of the way it's been. Sometimes things get in the way. That's how it goes. But at the very least, if you've not already been following the competition, should be in store for a pretty high quality game here. We got a couple of very notable players as well. Webben, who has been a long-time competitor in tournaments hosted by ourselves here in Assets as well as other locations. We've also got ShipItHolla as well, one of the highest rated players on the Dune Digital circuit, has definitely had his stints at #1. A couple of lesser players as well in this one, Toko28 as well as Thuney, or Thuney, might be getting the pronunciation wrong, wouldn't be the first time. But we're going to be doing a commentary on this. We're going to be spectating this on Dune Imperium Digital, which is a new feature to the app. It's been released a little while ago. I won't be able to show everyone's cards, but it allows you to basically spectate through the eyes of one of the players in the game. And it's so part of the experimental nature of this tournament. Alright everyone, so let's get going here. So we're going to be viewing this game through the view of Thuney here, who has willingly allowed us to share his view here. So looking at the opening row in text, and not a whole lot of meta out there. Let's have a look at what we got going. Opening row is going to be Missionary, Freighter Fleet, Ixan Engineer, Space Travel, and Scout. Reminder, this is Rise of Ix. This does not include Immortality. And then as for the text, we got memo corders, restricted ordnance, and hollow projectors. So there's some juicy stuff out there. I'd say these actually look pretty good for the likes of, say, Romba Verney. So I don't normally suggest taking Romba, but with his ability to, grab text with his ring, pretty decent. We see Toko take Paul Atreides in 4th. Unsurprisingly, Ship-It taking Ilban in 3rd. Thuney obviously is next up. Not happy about the lead, I suppose. I mean, it's not too bad. I mean, Yuna's got some use here. A laser, in theory, has some interesting use, but it's not Immortality. This is only Rise of Ix, so there is no grafting mechanics, which does hurt it a bit, no doubt about that. So we'll see how we go here. Game is going to be played with timers as well. That is a thing that has been activated. So players only have 90 seconds to take any actions in this game mode. So we'll see how we go here. There will be a bit of chat here as well. Unsurprisingly, I'll leave the chat up so you guys can see it as it goes along. But yeah, very quiet row. So in a way, Ilban might well just go immediate wealth. Just go wealth mentats and basically look to stall out his opponent so that they buy some cards and might give him something very strong to play for. We'll see how things play out. Anyways, Thuney up next. We'll see who he picks. Did ask the gamers just to take a moment with their choices, not rush, to allow us some time to go through. Just let them know that they can rock and roll as such. So unit taken by Thuney. And as for Webben, I don't know. What do you want to do? Do you go Ariana for just the water draw? She's not great at Rise of Ix, but maybe you can find some ways to use of it. Because engineers out there, you could maybe look to use the water to leverage several techs. There's not going to be Romba Vernius out there, so maybe you do that? I don't know. Romba, again, has some ring ability here. You feel you have to go very heavy Dreadnought, so there's no real big battle leaders, so there's definitely a bit of a niche to be had there. A laser feels a bit exotic. Definitely having access to the fold space cards wouldn't be useful. There is very limited faction access out there, and I've done it before in one of the show matches I played. I took a laser deliberately with the intent of buying loads of fold space cards and using that to supplant faction access, because the original row had nothing at all. So, and when it's this dead, there is additional value in guild contacts here. So, tricky choice for Webben. I think all of them have some merit, but we do see Rhombovernius taken, which I don't hate. Alright, here we go then. So, opening skirmish is going to be the Solari Influence Skirmish, one of the most powerful ones in the game. As is the case of Razvix, people, of course, very interested in getting to shipping and smuggling as soon as possible to get Swordmasters going and the likes. But no experimentation cards. Got to go largely with Dune Desert Planets, which are not as strong. So Webben opens up with smuggling, unsurprisingly. Thuney has got single access faction here. However, all the triangle access is in the original hand. So although Thuney can go double fold space, that's the second hand. Will not be able to go shipping right away. So that does reduce value in it. So what do you do here as Yuna? There's no money in the combat. If there was money in the combat, I wouldn't be against going like Wealth, Arakeen, and then going Wealth again just to slam Swordmaster. Do you just go double fold space? Do you go fold space and maybe try to get Arakeen? Give yourself half a chance to respin some triangle access next round. There's definitely some to buy out there. Goes down the Wealth route instead. Again, I think it makes sense. Also blocks Ilban from being able to go Wealth himself here, which is definitely important. So Ilban will go fold space. I wouldn't be surprised to see Yuna go fold space round 2, actually. And this is just kind of just trying to stall Ilban here. Quite unusual, actually, playing, being in the game, kind of doing commentary like this, where I can only see it through one person again. It's the first time I've ever done this. It is quite interesting. Arakeen goes, not with the ring, it should be noted, but of course Paul Atreides knows what he's drawing to at all times, so makes any kind of card draw very strong. Tech negotiation with the signet ring, so he's just going to go immediate memo quarters here. Use the ring to generate, use the space to generate a negotiator, and then buy it on the cheap here. Just takes them the faction bump with the Spacing Guild. So Thuney's got options. I don't hate going Carthag here, and will do so. No reason not to fight for this. Unbelievable. What an insane draw that is. Found the guild bump. That is very significant. Well, absolutely Yuna is going to be going fold space next round now. That is for sure. She just needs to get access to shipping. Basin taken by Ilban for some resources. Just a lip here from Yuna. Not wanting to get involved. No daggers. Understandable. Yuna not in crazy need of spice at the beginning of the game. She has no water, which obviously is an issue. But it's money is what she wants to get her ring going. The ring will generate some passive spice as you go. Overall, seems a reasonably decent one. I think Paul will be very happy to get the steel suits there. Second action. Very surprising. Not a lot of faction access out there. So here we go then. Webben reveals for 4. Let's see what people start buying here. Not the best of rows. Space travel taken for some card draw and some decent buying power. Siege Reverend Mother comes out here. Thuney will definitely be taking that. Could maybe go for Freighter Fleet, but I feel like Siege Reverend just seems to sell itself, and that is indeed what happens. 3 for Ilban. I expect Freighter Fleet to be taken. And is. And then Paul's going to have probably 4 or 5 Persuasion himself. And finds in the shadows. Big card. There is no immortality. Means there is no atomics. No way to spin the row. I think Paul Atreides will feel he's done pretty well here. No one's got shipping. No one's got any of this stuff going on. And he's got steel suits. Great flat conspire routes now. I think Paul will be pretty happy with things. It's a decent round, and he won the conflict as well. So I think a really good round for Paul here to open up. I actually wouldn't have minded Paul taking the Fremen bump just to kind of hog more water, but never mind. Machinations is combat number 2 here. So, Thuney, I feel like you have to go fold space. No, she is going to continue with the Wealth route. Interesting with the bump here. She's going to have to hold on to it for now, and she's going to try and ambush later on, I guess. There is money in the conflict here, so she might play for second. Look to just hit with a city, double daggers, force someone to go Hardy Warriors, and look to take second place here. It's not bad. Ilban happy just to go shipping here. Definitely interesting unit willing to give that up, but fair enough. Red goes smuggling to stop Webben being able to cash in at the money here. Webben, I imagine, is just going to blast Hardy Warriors. This is a good combat for him. He wants to try and get to shipping. It'd give him a second weapon Fremen, water to more spies. Wouldn't be surprised to see that happen. There's going to be a few daggers about, of course, as well, from the previous round. Hardy Warriors indeed is played. So I expect Thuney just to go back to car factory with recon, get the 3 units in, especially if you find some swords. Like, Yuna's happy with second place, but winning would be just as good. Webben does have a sword, so without assistance, cannot win the fight. No fight, but it's another bump. Know their ways now found. This is good stuff. 2 bumps to get access to places you can't get to otherwise. Very, very useful in the short run here. Still suits taken. ShipIt's got the extra spice here, so he might well be eyeing up maybe going holo projectors early, just to get some deck cycling going on. He's got the spice to use. He cannot get to shipping and Swordmaster just yet here. You not only put in the 2 troops though, which is notable, but it's going to be enough. She will get second place and will get Swordmaster access next round. No one can beat it to it, so I think you can live with that in second place, given a bit of a tricky hand. Webben does have an action. He could also opt to just reveal. But there's nothing great out there. So just taking the intrigue for now. 2 and 2. Do you go liaison? Spice Smugglers has interesting uses, Uni. You do get more out of it. Given that you are Uni, you do get the extra coin. But decides against it. I wouldn't have hated Spice Smugglers, given the fact you've got guild authorization. I wouldn't have hated it. Liaison taken by Ilban. Just buying up. The road's pretty quiet here. Someone's going to have to disrupt this eventually. The question is, who's going to blink first? Who wants a piece of Ixen Engineer? You might find Webben will pick up Ixen Engineer, and that might start unlocking this row a little bit here. But it's pretty quiet so far. I think this is fine. Like, as I've said before, I don't really a big deal with atomics. To me, if the row's kind of quiet, that's part of the game to me a little bit. Depends how you see it. Decides to go Missionaria because he's got In the Shadows here. And finds Choam Delegate. Huge. Benny's sister now. That will happily go to Webben. Red will fancy himself here, I think, in this game so far. There is definitely some interesting synergy starting to already build in his deck. Just needs to get to, like, selective breeding once or twice. I think he'll be in good shape. So, bumps taken here. That's the only issue with the situation with Machinations, is although Yuna's got guild authorization, she can get into shipping anytime soon, but I guess he got it in the back pocket. You start making use of these, though. Round 3 is Desert Power, so victory points and water out there. Up and down for ShipIt. I would expect him to go probably holo projectors, maybe spaceport or restricted. But if he goes holo projectors, he can still go to selective breeding. He has 2 spice. I think that's what he's after here. I think that's the one he's going to look to play. So here comes all the money. Toko will just take the cash here to get ready for Swordmaster next round. Does mean Webben can now start buying Dreadnoughts, though. And he might be interested in doing so. If he's got any loose daggers sitting around, or his ring, he's got no water here. Wind Traps is up next. It's not a bad tech for Webben, actually. I wouldn't hate him doing Dreadnoughting. It's kind of a tricky spot with no water. Obviously, he'd love to just go base and conspire, something like that, but that route is not open to him. Thuney as well has got kind of an interesting deck, actually. We do see the basin get played, so he is going to look to take probably Wind Traps. And does. Going to take the water. Detonation comes out next. Great tech for him. So Swordmaster has to be the first action, which means Hager Basin will be lost, sadly. Yuna's going to have to work out what she's doing with these actions here. She might look to go Steel Suits straight flat here. Ship It just rips it in at Hardy Warriors. No one's deployed yet, so I don't hate this. Seems good. Negotiation for Paul, just by building up his persuasion. Hager Basin for Webben. See, I think that's what I'd like to see is Thuney. I think Steel Suits, Great Flat, also gives you know their ways so you can get to Siege in a pinch. You don't have any more faction, real easy faction access. You've got Siege Reverend, though. You could probably look to do this and then target Selective Breeding and trash like a couple of cards out and do some deck cycling. I think that seems like a decent move. You want to get your Signet Ring going as much as possible as well. But you've got nothing that really heavily generates you money. But I think that's the move for me. Steel Suits, Great Flat, Limp in. Maybe even put in... I mean, you can just wait to go to, like... you don't have to rush here. But I think Steel Suits, Great Flat. Look to go Selective Breeding next round. Trash a couple of cards. And then kind of play out from there. Looks to be a good route. Looks like Thuney will be doing such. Ship It with the 7. So the row will start opening up here a little bit. I'm curious to know who's going to go to Ixen Engineer. If he wants Ixen Engineer, he might have to grab it now if he's got any intentions. Webben is almost certainly going to be looking to get it and get that cashed here. Just takes over memory and calls it a day, though. 5 for red. Just going to build up liaisons here. If blue has 5, he will be taking Ixen Engineer. Is surely going to get a point out of it. He doesn't have it. But he'll have a chance next round. Again, the row remains very dormant. There's only 5 liaisons left. Eventually, people are going to have to start buying some of these cards. I would say the longer this stays quiet, though, probably the better it is for Paul Atreides. He's got In the Shadows. He's got Cho'am Delegate. Both very decent cards. So I feel like as long as it stays like this, it's probably edging in his favor. Gotta take Great Flat now, surely. You can't let red get it. Red's not under immediate pressure for Swordmaster either. So, gotta take it down now. I would be tempted to put in both troops. Yeah, look to scramble out the water here. Does decide to do so. I think it's a good move. You hope blue doesn't have any swords. Even if he does, not guaranteed he plays. If it's an ambush, like, are you playing an ambush here? I think you're gonna wait. Spice Smugglers looks better now. You've got the spice behind you, and you're not really spending it on a whole lot. You've got Siege Reverend, that's about it. I really don't mind Spice Smugglers. You've also got Fremen access now at Siege with Know Their Ways. I really think Spice Smugglers, like, I'm down for it. You do risk building off a decent card for your opponents. But that money, you play that converts back into money for your ring, which turns back into spice. I think if you're going to do it, you do it now. It's not a well-regarded card, but I think given specifically here, like, you're basically having to supplant your faction access with Diplomacy and Siege Reverend, which is not a lot. Your ring is the key to a lot of it. But it's just going to go with the double liaison by the looks of it. Or just one. Not interested in Spice Smugglers. Fair enough. I think if there's ever a case for it, it was probably there. It just declines. Arakeen next up here. Round 4, more battle points. Nothing but battle points. Decent value combats coming out here. So Swordmaster taken. Shipping for blue. Blue will just cash in immediately to get his Swordmaster ready. Kind of a tricky spot here for green. I think green in a way kind of wouldn't mind mentating, but you just got to hit Selective Breeding with Siege Reverend. Yeah, trash out that dagger for sure. You probably trash just both daggers and call it a day. But it's going to go smuggling first here. I think this is dangerous. I think such a breeding had a lot of value there. I don't hate this. She's now, I think what's happening is Eunice feels like she's got to start getting ready for guild authorization. Knows diplomacy. Hopefully is going to come in our next round. But I think Ilban a lot of the time just hits this. That would be my concern. And given you've got free actions, you're not doing a lot with your hand. That's the only downside. ShipIt goes for High Council instead. Could he be going for Spiceless Flow here? It feels like he might legit just be looking to reveal for Spiceless Flow here and just taking the straight point. Red hits the fold space. Green might get to Selective Breeding anyways, which is kind of wild. Because surely Blue's going to feel like they've got to deploy something here, right? Arakine's a great combat. The money pays for Dreadnoughts. Reduces dependence on having to hit spy spaces. Surely you got to get stuck in here. No water, so no hardy warriors, but even just Carthag or Arakine looks pretty decent. Has got wind traps as well, so if they can somehow win the fight, they get water for it too. So Carthag looks reasonable, but Signet Ring and Recon are in the discard. Might not be able to get there. Robert probably has faction access. Steel Suit is not outrageous. Everything else feels a bit slow. Selective Breeding is an option, but then you are going to be drawing back into this next hand, and that's not going to feel too great. So the timing for that feels a little off. Mentat happens. Just going to wait for now. Is he eyeing up maybe Mentat Wealth? We'll see. I think Yuna absolutely should look to... Unless she's intending on highlining, which could be possible... I think, yeah, Selective Breed. No, Selective Breed it is. It's the right move. Get rid of both those daggers. Get them out of there. You don't need them. So that's trashing the discard one. Interesting. So decides to see what they pull first. And he's going to trash out the Dune card that they played. Not the dagger. They want to keep hold of this for now. Okay. So next hand looks like that. Missed Diplomacy. And does not yet have a way of getting the Signet Ring off. That's the only downside here. Vic was hoping to find a way to get into the combat and then use Ring next round, but has pulled out a bit weirdly. Everyone with one action left. ShipIt being strangled for actions here. So he went High Council immediately. If you got 9 Persuasion, listen, I went to just reveal, but going to go for Steel Suits and Limp. He's going to make a push for the Throne Alliance. No intrigues. There is only 3 intrigues out there in the game. Very few. There's been none from combats. Carthag's been barely hit. Secrets as well. So there is a lot of innate power in these intrigues Yuna's holding. People don't know what they are, but they could well be swords, and that will scare people. We know they're not swords, but none of the opponents does. I think we yet to see any come out either so far. Swords, yeah, nothing's been played. Webben does manage to get to Wealth to get his Swordmaster back in action. I mean, Arakine seems not a bad move. If you pull Diplo, it's unfortunate. Could also go Know Their Ways to go Siege. Guarantee the 2 water. A couple of options available to you here. I don't hate Siege. Problem is obviously for Arakine, like you can go Arakine, but what are you targeting for buying right now? Like the row is so dead, you're kind of like either going Spiceless Flow or nothing. So I feel like resources would be more useful here. There's nothing on any of these spy spots either. The alternative is you go Tex. What are you doing here? Restricted ordnance? Are you really going high council? Spaceport is quite pricey. And again, the row's pretty quiet here, so I feel like this has got less effectiveness. I feel like just going the water is fine. Gets you ready for potential research stations, which is going to be in contest here. People are going to be fighting for research stations, spice must flows, just trying to punt here. You just opts for the basin instead, so is threatening Highlander's next round of diplomacy. That was the other way to go about this. Threatening, there's not much garrison out there. I've got 2 intrigues. What do you want to do? Bit of a semi-bluff, in a way. ShipIt looked like he pulled his fold space card at High Council. Be unfortunate. We are running out of liaisons. We're down to 2. And once these liaisons go, people are going to have to start deciding what they're going to do in this respect. Paul doesn't mind. Like, he's got all these lovely reveal effects. They're doing the work for him here. 100. It'll be 6 persuasion for Rombavernius, so he picks up X Engineer. That's going to be almost guaranteed a point. But just Initiate now comes out. That's not a bad card. You take that. I think you take it and see what you've got. Could see the last liaisons go. It's also possible, but Yuna's not got any. She's got Siege Reverend, but she's already got like 2 liaisons in hand. Test Humanity comes out. That's a big card. But cannot afford it. So Ilban gets his money. Paul takes the win here. Up to 5 points. Decent shape, I dare say. Paul looking not bad. Carfax next. Look at all these victory points coming out now. It's kind of wild. Webben's going to have to start taking, getting some points here. Thuney gets the dagger on the respin. Not the card she would have wanted here. I wouldn't be surprised to see Thuney go Mentat here. It blocks Ilban off. Interesting. Webben ships. He sacks off the Swordmaster. Well, now Yuna does not have to go Mentat at all. She can just smuggle now, and she's going to look to highline this combat and then use Guild Authorization to ship next round, preferably with her ring. So this timing is going to be pretty smooth here. She can even go up and down and look to buy a Tech 2 if she wants it. Swordmaster for Ilban. Here comes the research stations. Dreadnought for Romba. He does buy detonation. Unsurprising. Minimit comes off next. That's going to be of interest here. Now, Yuna can't buy that Engo Highliner, but she's going to go High Council here. Does Yuna Moritani have, has she got restricted ordnance eyes here? ShipIt just goes selective breeding. Minimit's going to sit out there. Wouldn't be surprised to see Paul just grab this immediately. Wouldn't be surprised in the least. He's got the loose spice. It's not doing anything. He's got a negotiator as well. Seems like it'd be really good. Really good value. He's got 7 cards, so he's very likely got... Both his daggers are in his deck as well, so he's almost certainly got access there, you'd imagine. We're going down a very sort of heavy sort of deck building route here. I think that's what we're doing here. I think I'll be sending my dagger to there to start getting the Spice for Flows going. Seems a good route. You're ahead on points. You've already got the 1 battle win. So you've got kind of a bit of an edge in this game. Surely you'd imagine he has some degree of access there. He might have like a liaison and not really want to send a liaison to get it, but you're going to be neutral. You spend 2 persuasion. Mentats it. He's not interested in Minimic. Maybe he thinks he's going to get back there. Webben takes test. does not deploy anything. So Thuney's going to win this largely uncontested. I don't know how heavy you go in here. I think you got to go in pretty meaty here. Because ShipIt can still go high, still hit hardy warriors, and so can Paul. It's a little uncomfortable. Here comes the high line. Calls it 4. 4 seems fine. 5 probably a bit excessive. 3 seems like you're asking for trouble. With 3 you're saying, I've got swords, don't bother. They're a keen hit. They'll just be limping here for the loose resources. Red could conceivably find a way to win this between Savfk, hardy warriors, and some intrigues. Like, 8 is not safe. I wouldn't have hated just ripping it and get it all in and be done with it, but I guess 4 is totally fine. So 4 to buy for Yuna. She is High Council now. Not enough for power play. And is out of cost. And Thuney just decides, not interested. He's just going to keep a small deck. Doesn't want to bloat it with liaisons here. Here come the Spiceless Flows. Red just ships. Red just ships. So, cheap reward here for ShipIt. Only 8 though for Red. But he's got recruitment mission in hand. That was the intrigue. So he gets Spiceman's Flow. So Thuney wins it. We'll take this. And then it's going to be up to really rock and roll here. I think now also with the money gone, Thuney can also go up and down and just grab Mimic themselves and still take money for the ring. So I'm interested to see what's going to be planned here. I would be surprised to see Thuney actually like decide to just rip it at this alliance. Can get the triple bump. 1 with guild authorization, 1 with shipping, 1 with the ring. Can definitely just triple bump the alliance here. If you want to be really aggressive. I don't know how good a move that is, but it's a move. It's going to use the initiate, so looks like that's not going to be the plan. Gonna play maybe bumping the Emperor? It's possible. Terrible purpose is the combat. There is value, so I wouldn't hate that yet, and that's what happens here. He's gonna prep this up, so they will know that the ring is coming from Yuna. So they know there's gonna be a massive deployment. That is telegraphed, but it's up to the others to decide what they're gonna do about this. Should be just smuggles. Getting ready for more action at shipping. Restricted Ordnance is an option. Sonic Snoopers is there. Webben with potential in a way, but he's got to start converting here. He's going to have to be forced into this fight. Even though he knows what's coming is going to be unpleasant. But with troops and dreadnoughts behind him, he might have to close his eyes and go for it. A council by Paul. He's got the 2 bumps of Bene Gesserit, so he can now start discarding for bumps elsewhere. He can bump anything that's not Bene Gesserit. Does he want to be aggressive in Alliance, or is he just going to say Emperor bump now and see what happens? Plays it safe, just takes the point. And that's probably wise. So, Wealth Swordmaster coming for Webben. Thuney's got Siege Reverend. Doesn't have to use it here. Thuney's got an interesting spot. Could use it for bumps and trashing and intrigues. Or do you hold on to it for the Spiceman's Flow? That feels like there could be selective breeding planned here, which would also work. Don't hate threatening it. I think that's the intention here. So this is all going to get just dumped in here. Just going to get stuck in. Just the 8. Interesting. Could have put in more than that. Oh no, it's off Haga Basin. Could not have put in more than that. Actually, no, he could have done. 1 with the ring, 2 with that. And then 2 more. So that's just that Yuna is suggesting she's going to hit a city with Recon, and she's going to reveal Seeks Revenant for the Spiceman's Flow. That's what that suggests to me. She's not going selective breeding. If she was, I think this all goes in. And if you're going Fremen, you don't have enough for the Spice Buy. It takes you down to 8, so it feels like a city hit is incoming. Ship It with plenty of resources. I don't know if Ship It would really rip it here with highlining. You might not even have the access. It's possible. No huge cards out there. Ship It? I don't know. I don't feel like he'd highline this round. But he might have the access now. He might feel he has to. No intrigues, though, feels pretty bad. Webben will wait, of course. Thuney, I assume, is just going to go Carthag. That seems to be the move coming. I just feel like if you were going to go here, yeah, you'd have put in all the troops. So City it was. Obviously gets 2 money. It's on their choice. Wow, reinforcements. That's actually pretty significant. Yuna might only put in the extra troop and sit at 10. Knowing that she can reinforcements after deployments if something crazy happens. Would 16 strength be enough to win this fight? Given the lack of intrigues out there, I'd suspect the answer is probably yes. So, I like the move. You could be playing second wave, could be playing swords, could be playing a lot of things here. Ship It did have faction access, but is just going to take the secrets here. Was it Ship It who took space travel? At the start of the game? Someone did. No, that was Romba. Yeah, not much faction actually going for Ilban here, so... Paul Atreides is threatening to run away with this a little bit here. For water, he's going to look to just start slamming Research Station, trying to force himself over the line. Here we go then, Webben. Does he go for it? I can't see how he does. Surely it's a limp in at Basin. He's the only person without High Council, so he does not bother buying Restrictive Ordnance. Just going to hold his tight for now. So Yuna's going to take this down here. Buzzers will be bought. I don't know if that'll be trashed. Might trash the dagger instead. Unsure. Both are fine. Spices Flow for Ship It. Yeah, this is what a lot of people can do. There's going to be a lot of Spices Flow buying in this game, because it's going to be kind of hard to score points otherwise. 5 for red. Power play is going to be taken here, and that's going to be a clear threat here at the Bene Gesserit. Paul will not be able... His deck is all to be drawn, though, so he's not going to be seeing this for some time. That is a problem. So he can buy it, but he ain't getting played for a bit. But why would you not buy it? What else are you doing here? Wow, he doesn't buy power play? Fascinating. Well, Yuna's going to take this down. Webben leaving it all to do at the end of the game here. Only 4 points. And remember, this is a race to 10. This is not a race to 11, everyone. So this is a shorter sprint. It's play to 10. So Webben is he's got a lot of work to do here. The worry is he's left it too late. And Grand Vision does not help. That is not what he wanted to see. That's kind of a disaster. And look at this hand for Yuna. Siege Reverend's out there, but not a whole lot else. Misses any highliner opportunities. Misses the ring. Yeah, you could say that. You could say that. Mentat for Ilban. Ilban is looking for something, but Diplomacy's down there, and his deck is very big. So I think he's in some trouble here. Does Webben have faction access? Could he go base in... could he go base in Highliner? Red's got shipping available to him. But he researched stations first. I think he'd be happy to take smuggling. So now Webben with the opportunity, but he just folds space and takes the alliance and draws. Webben looks very desperate right now. So Thuney's got options. If you think the game's going to end now, you could even consider Seats Reverend Mother and trashing Seats Reverend itself. And does do it. So she's playing to end this basically now. Spiceworth Flow is in hand, so she's guaranteed on 9 points. But how'll she get to 10? She needs the bump at the Fremen. But she's not found it, and she doesn't have the money. I don't see how Una ends the game. Unless 2 people take money and she's able to get to Carthag. Ship It double bumps up. So he's playing for another round. Unless he has possibly Expedite in hand. It'd be pretty wild if he does. It's 1 intrigue. Someone lets you pay a spice for a shipping bump. Basically Hunter's Ring. Red's going to feel compelled to smuggle here and get this cash in, and does. Probably just going to bump Fremen. Protect it. Yep, does. Red will feel like they're in the ascendancy here. But they have no way of ending the game. That's the problem. And Grand Vision is uncomfortable. Webben, of course, remember, he does have detonation devices. And he does have X-Engineer. So there are points waiting for Webben here. He can finish a round on 8 or 9. But I don't see how he finds 5 points here. Very difficult. Maybe secrets. Battle, win. Cash it all in. It is possible. So this will force a discard for all of our players here. You just rips off convincing. Interesting. So what is the plan here from Una? Looks like just Signet Ring Dune. Is she going Arakeen maybe? Hunting for one of these? Let's see. You feel like she might as well go for it. Reinforces in hand. If she wins the fight, she will win the game. Because she can just use this to supplant the Fremen bumps. Or take Betty Alliance or whatever you want. So there's definitely a reason to go for it. Carthag played. Maybe hoping to fluke some money. Doesn't find it, but Water of Life is found. And that's not bad. That's going to allow a draw here. And that's going to allow a draw to get to Fremen. This game's over. This game is about to end here. Thuney's going to end it. She's going to play Water of Life. And assuming she pulls Diplomacy, Fremen is coming. It's a massive draw there for Una. Huge, huge draw. Ship It was playing for 8 rounds, but it might not be coming. You must realize he's in some trouble here. He's got urgent mission. That's why he went shipping. He's doing he's going for the double ship here. That's the intention. Was that a million miles away with Expedite? Do you just take the Emperor bump? Spaceport will be bought to try and draw more cards here. Again, I see plenty of routes to get to 9, but how does he find a 10th point? Often it comes out. I don't see anyone really buying that here. It doesn't seem particularly useful. There's still barely any deployment here. Una's just praying she just pulls Diplomacy. If she pulls Diplomacy, this game's over. She's going to get to 10. And then it's going to come down to Spice tiebreaks. Unless she somehow loses the Emperor Alliance. But unless Webben has a way of stealing it with, like, bribery, or the faction bump straight out there, the Alliance will be pretty safe. Red just tech negotiates. Taking Snoopers. Oh my god, stop. Spice Allies has come out. If Webben's got his ring, he can hit a spice base and just buy it and then trash it immediately. And basically pay for it. But he doesn't. He's got Hardy Warriors access. So he's going to rip it in. And here we go. Yuna Moritani needs diplomacy. If she finds it, this game and tournament could be over. Of course! She's got no other ways, doesn't she? She doesn't even need to do it. She doesn't even need to do it. Don't even need to take the chance. You can just take resources. Man, these bumps early, these were pesky. In a game like this, when it's this quiet, cards like this go up in value. Big time. Here comes the high line from Ilban. But it's going to be too late here. Blue almost certainly is going to lose the fight. He gets the excellent engineer point off for 7. But that's it. And Thuney's going to play Know Their Ways. And this is over. Thuney's going to sit on 10 with a bucket of spice. And unless ShipIt can find, like, demand respect off of this and take the Emperor Alliance, this tournament is over. So that's what it comes down to, basically. Does someone have demand respect and able to take the Emperor Alliance? It is the only option. The only way this game continues is that Webben's already got it. Or it pops here. Otherwise, tournament only is over. And Thuney is your Grand Vision Digital Champion. ShipIt's got one move. Does ShipIt have a way of getting to the Emperor? I can't see. There's just been no faction access this game. No diplomacy. If he's got access to wealth, do you go there? He has to. And Webben now in about the worst possible spot you could imagine if he's got swords. If you play them and can win the conflict, you give the game to Thuney. If you don't, ShipIt's going to win it with the Alliance still on the Emperor. In a way, I hope he doesn't have any swords here. And it's a pass. So that's all she wrote here. Thuney's going to get robbed at the absolute death. ShipIt finds double faction access and shipping with urgent recall and is going to take this one down. Only hope left now for Yuna is he somehow flukes core the market off of the intrigue pile. But it's not there. And that is brutal. Plans have been planned to memo quarters for Webben, but didn't have a way of getting the bumps. Means that ShipIt finds it at the end there and steals it to win the tournament. Really unlucky for Yuna, who I think actually played a really, really good game. Yeah, that's unlucky. I mean, Ilban drew a fair portion of his deck, but obviously feels pretty bad for that to happen. But that's the way it goes down sometimes. But yeah, I think Yuna can feel hard done, but I think Yuna played really good. Had to kind of negotiate a tricky start. Obviously, no one had any kind of good decks. It was all tricky for everyone going on here. And yeah, Yuna looked good to take this one down. Was going to do it unless wealth pops up the Emperor, and it does. And that is very tough going. So, commiserations to Yuna, Toko, and Webben. Toko, I think, will be a little disappointed. Had a promising start there. Had definitely an advantage with Shadows and Missionaria, but just couldn't get it off fast enough here. in this shorter format of the game, and it was always going to be difficult, I think, for Webben. I think made a good go of it with Romulvonius. I think the pick was decent. Got the text behind to try and do something with it, but unfortunately couldn't find the win to push over the line with detonation devices. Never got it off, and it wasn't meant to be. Needed to snowball early, but just took a bit too long to get going, unfortunately. So a little unfortunate there. Also, by the way, here's a crazy statistic. We just went through an entire game of Dune Imperium, and we didn't see a single sword card get played. I don't think I've ever seen that before in a game of Dune Imperium. Not a single sword was thrown as an intrigue. That's wild. So ShipIt does what ShipIt does best, and that is scramble through a messy game and find a way to come out on top. Yeah, huge result for ShipIt there. Finding the bump, getting interstellar shipping with the recall agent as well to get his first bump, and then highline with the second. So yeah, that was tough. That was tough going for Yuna. Couldn't have played really much better, I don't think, this game. Really did what she could. Got the 2 combat victories. Got the 4 these. Got the alliance. Double Spiceless Flow. That's good enough to win a lot of games here, but was not to be. Very unfortunate indeed. Anyways, folks, we're going to leave that there. So thank you much for watching and listening. Again, pretty quick fire one this. Game definitely did not hang about. But yeah, interesting to kind of get a feel for this and how it looks to do spectating. Definitely very interesting. We'll be doing more of this going forward as well with future content, future matches, and dare I say, future tournaments. Take care of yourselves, everyone. We'll see you all in the next conflict.